Hi everyone, thank you for joining us today. We're the Heckscher Youth Ambassadors. We're a group of 5th or 9th graders from local schools. And over the past few weeks, we've met at the museum to learn about this exhibition, to discuss it, to explore it, and really get to know it. And with that knowledge, we're each going to be introducing you to one of our favorite artworks from this exhibition. So you'll be following us along as a group as we lead you through this exhibition.
This exhibition is called The Heckscher Celebrates 100, Tracing History, Inspiring the Future. This exhibition is celebrating the Heckschers' 100-year history. The Heckscher was founded in 1920 by August and Anna Heckscher. It was one of the first suburban art museums. This exhibition is organized chronologically by time. Now let's start with Hofsa, where the art from when the museum was first founded is.
Hi, I'm Hafsa and I go to Southwoods Middle School. I'm going to be talking about this painting. So this painting is called Hopi Village, Arizona, and it was painted in 1916. I want everybody to take a good look at this painting. What stands out to you? What do you notice?
The sun.
The sun, yeah. Anything else?
Beautiful rocks.
Yeah. If we look at the foreground, there are a lot of gray area over here. Can anybody spot the people in this painting?
Yes.
Right there, exactly. So this painting was painted by Thomas Martin, and it was painted in 1916. And it was actually painted before any cameras were, like colored cameras were invented. So it was a pretty big thing back then. Can you spot the village in this painting? Anybody? Yeah.
Very close to me.
Yeah, it's right up here, and it sort of camouflages with the rocks. I really like this painting because the rocks look so realistic. I also think that the sky drags you in, and it gets a lot of attention. Any last thoughts? Any last questions?
It looks very peaceful.
Yeah, it is. Now let's turn it over to Maria in this next painting.
Hi, I'm Maria Aaron McIntosh. I'm in 6th grade at Salisbury. The painting I'm introducing to you right now is an oil and canvas painting named Autumn by Frederick Edwin Church. When I first looked at this painting, I noticed that it was a landscape painting. And it takes place in autumn, since that the colors of the trees are starting to change. I also noticed that there's a middle ground lake, and the background, the sky, is not fully blue. It's like purples and pinks. Then I learned that this painting takes place in Laurel Lake. I also learned that the artist, Church, was in a group called the Hudson River School. They sketched outdoors and they painted indoors. Now imagine you're in the painting. In the foreground, you see leaves falling, and you also see a fallen tree log. You see birds in the sky, and the lake is glistening. What do you feel in here?
Peace and solitude.
Slightly chilly.
Now look at the other paintings around. Do you see anything that's the same or different about them?
A lot more. A lot of blue sky.
They're all landscapes.
They're all landscapes. What I really liked about this painting is that I liked all the nature and life in it. Nature has always inspired me to be creative, and the life in it reminds me of all the times I've hiked with my parents. Sometimes, when I see something really cool, I just take my mom's phone and take a picture of it. This painting kind of reminds me of something I'd take a picture of. Now, please follow William to our next painting.
Hello everyone, my name is William Shi. I'm in 8th grade and I go to Southwoods Middle School. And today I'm going to be presenting Stripped of Borrowed Feathers, a Raven's Jackdaw by Melchior de Hondecourt. So, this is quite obviously, it's a fight, right? you have a raven here and you have a rooster here. Now, by a show of hands, who thinks the raven would win in this fight? So you think the raven would win. Why do you think the raven would win?
I believe the raven will win because it looks like it's right now in a lot of pain, but then I feel like it's going to get help from the birds next to it, and so that eventually win.
Now, does anyone have any reasons as to why they think the rooster would win?
Only you're fighting rooster.
Maybe. I don't think. Okay. Yes.
If humans don't talk to it uses that many things.
Okay. So, for anyone who thought the rooster would win, so you two especially, you are indeed correct. So, with some backstory behind this is based off one of Aesop's fables. Now, what this fable said is that the raven wanted to look better to everyone else. He didn't want to see everyone in his jet black feathers. So what he did was he stole the feathers of other birds. And obviously, with the other birds not being happy of this, they fought the raven and they eventually killed him. There's a second part of the story, or like a second version, which is the raven wants to be like a swan. He wants to be like pretty and majestic and elegant. And what the raven ends up doing is he acts like a swan. He swims in the same lakes the swan do. He eats the same things the swan does. But that doesn't provide enough nutrition because they're different birds and need different things. The raven needs meat, the swan needs water weeds. So after starvation, the raven also dies. So it's not good for the raven either way. Now, what this Aesop's fable is, so Aesop, I think he was a Greek dude. And what he did was he wrote a bunch of stories with meaning behind them, such as the tortoise and the hare. I'm pretty sure we all know that, with like slow and steady wins the race, right? So what this is about, it's an allegory on vanity. Now, since I had to Google both of those words, what an allegory is it's a picture where there's always a deeper meaning behind it. And vanity means having too much pride in how you look towards others, which is quite obviously the raven, as he has too much pride in how he looks towards others and decides to change how he looks and eventually dies because of it. Now, this was also painted during the Dutch Golden Age, which was an era in the 1600s where both allegorical paintings and bird paintings, well, animal paintings in general, but more specifically bird paintings, were extremely popular. So this is also another reason why he painted this. And I believe there's another version called the Vain Jackdaw, but I have no clue where it is right now. And so the reason why this painting was one that I liked a lot is because I like mythology and stories in general. So that includes like Zeus or Hera or even like Roman and Norse mythology, like Thor. So I like all of these in general, and the fable is kind of just a smaller version of mythology, but without any relation to the natural world and like reason behind it. So thank all of you, and please follow Alex to our next painting.
Thank you, everyone. My name is Alex, and I'm in 7th grade at Cold Spring Harbor Junior Senior High School. This painting is Eclipse of the Sun by George Gross. When I first saw this painting, which was a long time ago, I noticed a lot of things. What do you guys notice? Jack?
The big man is the yellow, the blue jacket with the yellow coatings.
Yeah. He's probably the most noticeable thing with all of his bright colors compared to all the very dark colors. I'm pretty sure it was intentional. Anyone else?
A lot of headless people around here.
Molly?
A donkey.
Yeah. Maria?
Skeleton in the bottom right.
Yeah, right down there.
A little boy in a cage on top.
Now, this painting obviously doesn't make much sense. I mean, like, why is there a donkey on the middle of the table with headless people and a guy in a fancy uniform? And then a bunch of burning buildings in the background. Well, I learned that this painting is a critique of post-World War I Germany. And the man in the suit up there, the one who doesn't have a head, the one who has a head, is Paul von Hindenburg, who was the chancellor at the time, and was in the pocket of rich businessmen, such as that one, who is somehow carrying an entire train under his arm. The title refers to the sun in the top left up there, which is being eclipsed by the dollar sign, a symbol of greed. It's probably the most important and famous painting in the museum.
It was acquired in 1969, I believe. It was actually discovered in someone's garage. It was presumed lost for many years. And the museum director at the time, Eva Gatling, led a successful campaign to buy it for $15,000. And that campaign included donations from local artists, students from the high school at the time, and even the governor of New York. So there are a lot of other George Gross paintings in this gallery. This half is actually devoted to him. There are even some on that table. What did I have in common with this one? Maria?
They're not really like 100% realistic.
They're not realistic completely, but they still, you can tell what they are. Like, they're not abstract. Anyone else? William.
People are characterized.
Yes, clearly. I mean, like, obviously bureaucrats aren't really headless, but they sure seem like that. Okay. Alright, I really like this painting because, I don't know, I've just always been drawn to it. Back when I did family hour when I was really young, I always loved to come look at this painting after it. And yeah, it's glad to have the chance to share this painting with you. Now please follow Molly to the next artwork.
By Richard and Eclipse. It was made in 1982 and was a gift from Vanity and Edwin. When I first looked at this artwork, I noticed 5 main colors, the colors of a sunset. I thought that it could be behind windows. And I also noticed such straight lines. I thought it was maybe a digital or a washi tape, but then I learned that the medium is actually acrylic on canvas. This type of abstract art is called op art. It is short for optical art, which means it uses optical illusions. I don't know if it is going in or out. Does this remind you of anything?
It also reminds me of the sunset, since that all the colors in it and stuff.
Sunset and awesome.
It reminds me of a staircase or a building up.
Anybody else?
Windows.
Windows.
Maybe a dragon.
Okay. For me, it reminds me of a sunset, maybe behind a wall or a building. Do the colors stand out to you in any special way?
They're mostly warm colors.
Warm colors. I like it that, I don't know if it's going in or out. It could be steps leading to a building or maybe a temple. The illusion really draws me in. Also, there's a QR code to see who was inspired by this artwork. This was a teenager from a high school, and they come to find their favorite artwork and make an artwork inspired by that. Please follow Sylvie to our next artwork.
Hi, I'm Sylvie. I'm in 9th grade at Cold Spring Harbor High School. So when I first looked at this artwork, I noticed a lot of shades of green. I also noticed that there was a lot of movement in the piece because of the brushstrokes going in all different directions. Then I learned that this was Jane Wilson's Midsummer Midnight, made in 1993. I also learned that it's a landscape with abstract elements and that it's based off of her interest in changing weather. I also learned that the inspiration for it was from her childhood home in the West and also from her home now on Long Island. So Jane Wilson has been known to paint from memory. Is there a place that you think that you could describe or paint from your own memory? Yeah.
My backyard.
Your backyard? Yeah.
My house.
Your house. So for me, I think that I could describe the trees outside of my house. So something I really like about this artwork is that there's always more to discover. I've looked at it so many times and always find something new. Another thing I like is that it brings in the flat landscapes of the West, like you can see down here, and also the familiar to us landscape of Long Island. And then another thing that I enjoyed about this artwork was that it really represents the type of art that the Heckscher has been exhibiting for 100 years, because this shows aspects of Long Island and landscape, and Heckscher has been exhibiting elements of landscapes in Long Island through pieces like this. So now you can turn to Emma for the next artwork.
Hi, my name is Emma, and I'm in 7th grade at Coltsburg Harbor Senior High School. When I first looked at this artwork, I noticed that it was a diamond and not a square, which is pretty unusual for a lot of artworks. I also noticed all of the bright colors and that there were figures that were popping out of the artwork. I also noticed that there were words written on the artwork. And finally, I noticed that there was a figure lying on the floor. Then I learned that this artwork was called Relationships Kandinsky No. 1 by Howardine and Pindell. And I learned that it was inspired by Kandinsky. The artist said, I intentionally selected Kandinsky, versing his colors to their complement, and I enjoyed quoting his work throughout the piece. I think that this means that the artist liked taking some of the work of Kandinsky and changing it to make it her own. Here is some of the art by Kandinsky. What do you notice that is similar?
Colors.
There's a lot of black lines.
Yeah, so there's similar colors and like a lot of black lines. Anybody else? Yeah.
There's a lot of things happening in both.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things happening in both. So the artist was also inspired by African power figures. Here is one of the African power figures that she was inspired by. What do you notice that's the same? Yeah, Molly?
They have pins sticking out of them.
Yeah, so both of these figures have pins sticking out of them. Does anybody else have anything? Yeah.
They're both made from one color.
Yeah, so they're both made in one color, so black. Does anybody notice anything that's different about them?
One has, the one you're holding has a face, and this one's more abstract.
Yeah, so this one has a face and that one's more abstract. So something that I really like about this artwork is all of the bright colors. Now let's turn to Alex for our conclusion.
Thank you everyone for coming here today. I just want to point out that over here is the Baker Design Gallery. Unfortunately, we didn't actually get to that today, but you can visit it shortly. Now, please follow Mrs. Wood into the lobby where the youth ambassadors will be presented with their certificates.
Big congratulations to the youth ambassadors. You did a terrific job today. They've been working so hard the past 4 weeks, coming to the museum early every Saturday morning, learning about the Heckscher Museum of Art, about this exhibition and the artwork, choosing their favorite art to research. They've been also learning some life skills, communication, public speaking, how to give and receive feedback. They've been working in this diverse group, students from different schools and different communities. And as I said, they worked really hard, and you could tell it really showed today, guys. So thank you so much. And a big thank you to all of the parents who got these guys here each week early on a Saturday morning and for doing all the behind-the-scenes things to make today possible. So thank you all so much. So youth ambassadors, I'm going to be giving you each a certificate congratulating you. And on the certificate, it will show that you've earned 10 hours of community service for your work here these past few weeks. So I'll hand out the certificates one at a time, and maybe at the end we can give a big round of applause for everyone. So to Hafsa, to Maria, to William, to Alex, to Molly, to Sylvie, and to Emma.